Hey guys, it is Targon here, back from vacation doing another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I want to talk about resource management and being disciplined, especially when it comes to the use of shards, but really also with any resources that we're going to use in the game. So this isn't going to be one of those flashy videos. This isn't going to be one of those, oh, exciting, like, oh, look at this new champion. Oh, this is how we beat the new Doom Tower boss. But honestly, guys, this might be one of the most important concepts to grasp and to really think about in the game, because there's plenty of times where I've spent resources in one area of the game thinking that's what I wanted to do, and it actually ended up losing out. So the first one is shards, right? Shards are kind of like the biggest thing in the game. You need them to get the new champions, right? Everybody wants the cool champions. And right now, Plarium is throwing so many events at us trying to get us to pull shards. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, just ease up, guys. Like, because before long, it's like people are just going to check out, I think. But they're just throwing all these new champions, all these new things we can do, and so it's easy to get tempted to pull the shards right away, as opposed to being disciplined, being focused. Where am I at with my account? What is really going to help my account? And might I want to save my shards for something else later on, right? So that's what we want to be thinking about. So I used to go for every fusion. There's nothing really wrong with that, but looking back on it, there's a number of fusion champions that just, they're sitting in my vault. I'll be honest, like, I'm not really using them. I haven't even, and again, this is my main account. Like, there's, let me see, I don't know if I have, there probably more in my vault. All right, so like these ones here, Herndig, I have another Herndig, but so like Vlad, haven't used him. Most of them are sitting in my vault. So I haven't even, like, used Rorik or Yoshi. I use Yoshi in some in Faction Wars, but I'm not even using him right now. I probably should, and some they're probably worth taking to 6 stars, but like, I haven't used them. I still go for the fragment ones just because they're relatively easy to get, and I like summoning them for extra CVC points. Braga's another one that I have a dupe of at 60. But so, like, I have a handful of fusion champions that I'm just not using, and even like some of these. So I did get the Mother Cybele. I almost skipped hers, but I ended up just going for it. And really, I don't use her a ton. I use her for Faction Wars, really, and that's kind of it. I think if I book her, I might use her for some of the Doom Tower content. Could be useful. Let's see, who else? Who else? Versolf was one that was in my vault for a long time, and I'm finally starting to use him. Let's see, I guess that's it. I haven't built Gaius yet, but I'm going to build him. But sometimes you get fusions, and they're not that great. And so that's one thing to be mindful of, is you don't necessarily want to go for every fusion. So I've skipped a few. Now I am going to be going for this fusion, because this guy looks like a really, really solid champion. Which is why I am glad that I saved resources in case I did want to go for the fusion. So I hadn't gone for the last few, but I'm going to go for this one because he looks really, really good, and I'll cover him in another video. But we just had, prior to the announcements on all his stuff, was this Shielder summon draft, and I was tempted to dump all my shards going for Valkyrie. If I had gotten her, I would have been ecstatic. Best shards I ever spent. But odds are I wouldn't have gotten Valkyrie. I probably would have pulled maybe one of these epics and then a bunch of other chickens, right? So we want to be disciplined with how we're using our shards. We want to think about what's really going to help me. What are the real odds of me pulling the champion? Because honestly, 10x, I hope they actually change it up and maybe do like a 25 or something. Like you gotta boost it a little bit more, because at this point there are so many legendary champions, and the odds of pulling a legendary champion are so slim that like the odds of actually getting Valkyrie are really, really low. Even if I pull gold, it's still really low. So even if I had a guarantee my next shard's going to be a legendary champion, still not great odds for Valkyrie. Now, if I was close to Mercy, I'd probably pull until I got a Lego and see what happens. But the point is, if I had spent all my shards on this, I wouldn't be able to spend them on this, right? And so we want to think, all right, do I want to chase that elusive champion in a 10x event and perhaps come away empty-handed? Or do I want to save for a fusion or even a guaranteed champion event? And then from there, I'm able to have a champion that I know I'm going to be able to get. And I think for most people in most areas of the game, that's probably the wiser way to spend your resources, is you wait for a fusion that's going to help you. You wait for a guaranteed champion that's going to help you. And then maybe, like, if something comes up and you really want a specific champion, go for the 10x. Now, Ancient Shards and Void Shards are a little different. The Ancients, I still say you probably want to save some for a guaranteed champion, just because those can be really good. They've done some really good guaranteed champions. The Void Shards also, that can be good, but part of my line of thinking is I'd actually prefer to pull them on a 2x, just because they're rare. The legendary champions there are so rare that I want to increase my odds of getting one. I've only pulled 2 legendary champions off Void Shards this whole time. I've been playing for 3 years. But so I pulled in the 2x event because there's also some epics that I really want. Inquisitor Shamel. I would love to get another Man-Eater as well, so because I've only pulled one. So I pull Void Shards a lot of times during a 2x event. Ancient Shards also can be really good during a 2x event, especially if you're early game, because your odds of getting an epic champion go up as well. So especially early game, I would say don't pull on a 10x event, especially Ancient Shards, because your odds of getting a legendary are just so slim. So I like a 10x event. So like with Valkyrie, right? I had 200 Ancient Shards at 0.5% chance of pulling a legendary. The odds were still better that I wouldn't. That like it wasn't the greatest odds that I'd necessarily pull a legendary champion, and then the odds of getting Valkyrie on top of that, no thank you. I wouldn't pull the Ancient Shards for that. Now a 2x event where all of a sudden I got a 16% chance of pulling epics, that's a little bit more enticing, especially early on, because the epics are going to help me a lot more early on. But even now, where I'm at, I still like the 2x events better on an Ancient Shards, because, not because, there's a few epics that I want still, like Vogoth would be great, or a few others, but 4-star chickens, I'll use those too. So I'd rather pull my Ancient Shards during a 2x event, though saving for the guaranteed champion probably still is better, because occasionally they put some pretty good ones out. And I think the same goes for Void. The epic champions for Void are actually really good. A lot of them are on par, if not better, than a lot of the regular legendary champions. And just increasing this from 5% to 1% does help the odds of pulling a legendary. And sure, I'd much rather have one like a Krisk or Siphi or whoever they're doing the 10x for, but I'd be happy with a Blind Seer and plenty of other champions, like legendary champions for the Void, that would be really helpful for my account. And there's a bunch of epics that would also be really helpful for my account. So that's why I'll pull those during a 2x or a double chance. So just some things to think about with your shards. You want to save and have that flexibility where if a really good fusion drops, you have the opportunity to go for it. Like one of my clan members was lamenting that he spent all of his shards during the double legendary draw, where you draw one, you get a second one for free, and he spent all his shards on it, and now he's kicking himself because this amazing fusion champion drops, and he's not sure if he's going to be able to get it. Like it just might not be feasible. Hopefully he can. But so, I'm finding that Plarium is really throwing a lot of these things out, trying to get people to spend shards right before announcing this big fusion. So it's like, oh, pull all your shards for this extra legendary event. Oh, wait, gotcha. Now you got to spend money if you want this really amazing fusion champion, right? So we want to be disciplined. We want to think about that. All right, they're trying to get me to pull shards. Might there be a reason to hold on to these, right? And so we're coming up on CVC, and I've heard that they're doing a 10x on Kymar, and on Warlord. So I could spend my shards there, and it's like, oh, I get the points for CVC, but I'd love to have Prince Kymar, but chances are I'm not going to pull him. So I'm thinking I'm going to save, wait for that guarantee champion, and wait for something that I know is really going to help me, and eventually there'll be another 10x on him. So if I'm saving, and like after this fusion, if there's 10 dud fusions and I don't go for them, I'll just save my shards, and then if there is a really good event, then I'll pull them. All right, so you want to just think about, where am I in my account? Another thing to just cover real briefly is energy management. Energy is one of the biggest things in the game, so you want to be mindful of how you're spending your energy. So like I said, we have CVC coming up. I have saved over 6,000 energy. I am going to spend a good chunk of that, but not all of that for CVC. If this was personal rewards, I'd be tempted to just dump it all in and go all in like I always do, because then if we win, then I'm getting a bunch of energy back. Plus, I've been saving all these specifically for when I'm doing fusions, when I'm doing big tournaments, and sometimes for CVC as well. I'll use that. But right now, like we're doing, again, there's things pulling for your energy, and so they're doing this Kyoku tournament, if it loads. Right, so you do the champion training. I've already got her, so I'm not worried about it. 47,000 training points. I mean, it's not insane. It's not at the levels that it was when Krisk was out there. But this is still like, that's so much energy to spend. You could spend probably like a quarter of, no, probably like half of this energy during the 2 weeks to complete a fusion. Would get you the champion. So it's like they do this thing where everybody's like, oh, go all in on Kyoku, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute, amazing fusion drops. Now I've already spent all my energy. And I look at, like, this guy down here, probably not going to catch up at this point. Down 20,000. He's already dumped thousands and thousands of energy into this in all likelihood. And it's, I mean, sure, you might come away with a book, and sure, you've trained some champions, but you want to think about what you could be using that energy for. Kyoku's a good champion. She's a great champion. Worth spending energy to get, yes. But this fusion that they're dropping is probably going to be every bit as good, if not better. So just be mindful with the energy. Save some energy if you're going to be going for fusions. You want to save energy. You want to save shards. You want to save potions. You don't want to just go dumping everything all at once. Even with books, sometimes I still have some books saved for exactly this reason. For if I get a champion that's just like, whoa, I really need to get this champion. I've got plenty of books, but I'm saving them for when I get a champion that I really want booked and who's really, really, really going to help me. So we just want to be thinking about that with all the resources. Gems as well. This upcoming 2x event for ancient shards, I could dump all these gems and get a bunch of ancient shards, but what if I want to be able to use more energy? I might need some of those gems for energy. So So just think about, like, where are you in the game? What is it you're trying to accomplish? And go for it, right? But you wait for the things that you feel confident in, that this is what I need to do to advance my account to the next stage. I'm not at the point where I feel like I'm just going to go into a whole bunch of 10x events, because the odds are I'm not going to get them. Now, once I get to the point where I've got tons of champions and it's like, oh, this is the one that I really want that I don't have, then I'll do that. But for right now, I'm kind of sitting back and waiting for more of the guaranteed stuff. Okay? So I hope you found this video to be helpful. I hope that this helps you to just kind of rethink the approach to the game, and I hope that you're able to actually get some of these really great events that go on for the guaranteed champions and the fusions and stuff, because you're able to be a little bit more patient. Being patient really is a very good virtue to have in this game, because it's going to allow you to get the champions that you need. It's going to help you unlock that next level that you're trying to get to, because every so often they do throw out some really great champions. All right, so hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you next time.